Mike.
Let's talk a little Guardians, guys,
Good.
before we get into our 2-year anniversary special. Once again, thank you to everyone who sent in videos. We've also gotten 2 submissions since the show started. So we have even more, and I haven't seen them, so hopefully they're not vulgar and off the rails because I can't listen to them.
Like the rest of the show is?
Yeah, right, honestly.
By the way, speaking of which, can I do this real quick before you do the read?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Earl posted a video because Earl went and spoke to a class, and he posted a video. It was a great job by Earl. Earl is great at giving back to the community. He has worked his ass off to, come out of the tough circumstances he's been through and continues to be through with some, with stuff going on in his family. But and he gives back. He's gone and spoken in prison. He's gone and spoken with young kids where seeing him have the success and how he's come up in his career is great. But I thought it was funny that people were responding to this video and saying, "Oh, don't let them watch Bull." Because he might curse during the show. First of all, I'm great with kids. You know that, Mike.
Bull is very good with kids.
And I would be great with kids.
I'm great with kids.
And number 2, kids hearing people cursing is far from the biggest problem on this earth. All right? Cursing has been demonized. Kids are not hurt by cursing. They're hurt by violence. They're hurt by a lot of the sexual stuff that's on TV. That's a problem, not me cursing. So stop complaining about me cursing. Not that they were.
All right, guys, if you want to go to a Cavs,
Earl,
shout out. That was awesome.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If you want to go to a Cavs playoff game, a Guardians game, maybe Game 4 on Monday night, there's no better place to buy your tickets online than the GameTime app. GameTime is now an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the GameTime app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices and views from your seat, plus their lowest price guarantee. GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. So download the app. Create an account. Use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
And if you wait till day of, you're going to get some great deals.
You do really get they have some awesome deals. And use that promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Bulls a crazy Guardians game yesterday. Manzardo got his first hit. They had a walk-off win. Your boy Brian Rocchio with the walk-off.
He's hot,
starts
actually.
his all-star campaign.
He back?
But I want to start.
I
want to start before we get to the other stuff with Tanner Bibee real quick, because we keep talking about the starting pitching and the struggles and the inconsistency in the Guardians starting pitching, and we thought last week it appeared Tanner Bibee may have been turning the corner towards getting back to the guy we saw pitch last season. But another
he's had 2 bad starts in a row.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's back to where it was before. Average would be putting it nicely yesterday. How concerned are you? And Jason, I actually want to start with Jason on this one because that was his Cy Young pick.
Yeah, go ahead.
How concerned are you about Tanner Bibee?
Getting there. I'm getting there. I mean, yesterday he couldn't make it through the order a second time. And Detroit isn't like the Yankees. This is a lineup he should be able to handle.
The lineup's not very good. Their pitching's good, but their lineup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't want y'all to say that part, that their lineup wasn't good.
The Tigers?
Man, have you seen? They've been hitting against us the past 3 games.
They scored 11 the other
My
day.
God,
their best hitter has yet to hit a home run, and he's batting about .215.
It's amazing.
I didn't. When y'all talked about the pitching thing, we need to trade for a pitcher. I said, y'all, it's a little premature. Like y'all need to just ride this way. I'm getting there.
The Guardians'
I'm
rotation.
ready to push the button myself.
I'll tell you, the Guardians' rotation. Jason and I were talking about this before the show, and yesterday I put out this long thread. I finally figured out how to do a thread on Twitter.
I'm so proud of you.
After
Welcome to 2022.
I had initially done it, and then I didn't do the thread, and then I deleted it and put it back up. I had put out 6 tweets, praising the Guardians front office, even though I've been very critical of them over the last few years. It's amazing, this organization. This organization takes so much shit from people in this town, by and large. And I am critical of them. I don't like the owner. The owner's cheap. But the front office, the guys who have been in the front office since I've been here, from Mark Shapiro to Chris Antonetti to Mike Chernoff, have all done a fantastic job. Doesn't mean they don't screw up sometimes. And in the last couple of years, they've made some blunders. But overall, big picture, the team is always in the mix. And they get no benefit. The Browns get benefit of the doubt even when they suck.
Yeah.
The Guardians get no benefit of the doubt even when, and I know it's about money. Jimmy Haslam spends. Dan Gilbert spends. Big advantages for those franchises. Dolan is a cry poor owner who wastes money on other stupid things and has hurt this team time and time again by being unwilling to spend in recent years when they need it. It is remarkable how this team is 11 games over 500.
It defies logic.
It's crazy.
So the
rotation stinks right now.
So we talked about the rotation problems.
Yeah.
We talked about this before the show. Here's the OPS, because I was using averages just as a but you like OPS, and that's fine.
And let me tell the fans, an average OPS is about 725, give or take.
725.
So if you're below 725, that's below average.
OPS is on base plus slugging.
Yeah.
Team leader, Stephen Kwan, 903.
That's fantastic.
Josh Naylor, 900.
Fantastic.
Okay. And then is the cliff.
Yeah. Well, David Fry, although he doesn't qualify.
And then here is everybody else.
Yeah.
Hosey, 718.
That's average.
Will Brennan, 697.
Not great.
Estevan Florial, 669.
Terrible.
Andres Jimenez, 668.
Hideous.
The cliff is falling farther and farther. Brian Rocchio, 620.
Pathetic.
Tyler Freeman, 618. Gabby Arias, 609. Bo Naylor, below the depths of the sea, 558.
Atrocious.
At the bottom of the dumpster, Ramon Laureano, 530.
Disgusting.
And this team is 24-13 in the first place.
It's remarkable.
Their starting pitching is horrendous. The lineup after the top two guys is average to terrible.
Yeah. Yes,
And
if you look at the lineup, Naylor and Quan have been great.
Yep.
Fry's been great when he's played.
He mashes lefties. He's got an OPS of over 1,200
and
against lefties.
Ramirez and I'd say Jimenez, even though his OPS is not great, have been okay.
Yeah.
Everybody else has been pretty awful.
Yeah.
They're winning because of those few clutch hitters. The bullpen, for the most part, has been sensational, and they're excellent on defense and running the bases. And they're able to score more runs than their hits, than their OPS would make you think, because they run the bases so well. Their defense is, outside of catcher, their defense, and maybe right field, their defense is very strong. Even Naylor at first has got himself to be a solid first baseman.
He's gotten better.
Yeah.
Shout out to Austin Hedges for the big RBI.
No.
I mean,
what's wrong with you? Hey, what?
I'm not going to Austin Hedges for any offense. He's the worst offensive player in the league.
So he did just come through yesterday?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I mean, good. I'm glad he did. I like him. He's a good defensive player. Bo Naylor has made no progress defensively. They got to stick with him. He's their guy. I mean, he's terrible in the field. Terrible. It could become an issue.
David Fry, starting catcher.
Yeah,
we're not there yet.
No, but if Bo Naylor's OPS a month from now is under 600, he's going to have to go to the minors at some point. I hope it doesn't happen. But you can't carry a young guy with a 550 OPS.
Is Fry better than we think, though? I mean, I understand he's more of a utility guy than an everyday catcher, but is he just a better hitter than any of us could have imagined?
I'm coming around on that. He mashes lefties.
He does, but
destroys lefties.
And I like David Fry. I'm very impressed with what he's doing. He strikes me as the type of player that he's better with not playing every day.
Yeah, it very well could be.
You know, like I feel like you play him every day, he maybe gets exposed.
Yep.
So I think he's in a good role, playing part-time, and he's excelled at it. I wouldn't mess with it. Bo Naylor is their future at the position. He has got to come through. And I don't know if he's pressing. I don't know what's going on, but he's been bad.
Sophomore regression.
Now, Rocchio's gotten hot the last week. He's playing much better. Hopefully that can continue. He's, a high-level prospect.
Yeah.
Where are we
We'll see. But they need – and Ramirez has been better lately. He got off to a bad start.
He's on pace for like 130 RBIs.
Yeah. But that's going to be slowed down with Quan hurt.
Where are we at in home runs, Big Man?
Here we go. This is the only thing this man cares about.
Tyvis, I looked it up yesterday. I will double-check. But
they're right in the middle.
I haven't asked.
Still on pace.
I haven't asked in a while.
For Tyvis's bold prediction to come true. As of today, May 9th, 12:16 p.m., your Cleveland Guardians are tied for, drumroll, Tyvis, 13th in the Major League
They've been right around there. They're averaging like just over one home run a game, right?
They have 38 home runs, and the record is 24-13.
We are
so
never
38
gonna
home
hear the
runs.
end
and
of
You know what the
37
problem
wins.
is?
Never gonna hear the end of this. If he's right and we were wrong.
Y'all overthought the situation. Y'all should have just threw
Don't
somebody.
get cocky
It's May 9th.
because Josh Naylor gets hurt every year. If he gets hurt, they ain't getting that number.
Stop it.
They need to put Josh Naylor in bubble wrap right now because he and Quan will carry in the team.
Yeah.
And now
Hosey.
Quan's going to be out a while.
And Hosey.
All right, Hosey, I'll throw him in there. But Naylor's been sensational.
Yes.
I got to give him a ton of credit because, I've given the mea culpa about this many times, but I didn't think he was going to ever hit lefties. He has. I didn't think he'd ever be an adequate first baseman. He has. He has turned himself into a hell of a ball player.
Yep.
He is a very good, I think he's now a low-tier all-star player. And I did not think he'd ever be that good.
He set himself up for quite a payday.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on Jimenez to start hitting home runs.
He's got one.
I know. It bothers me. He can't let Stephen Kwan outdo him at home
Well,
runs.
Stephen Quan's going to be out a month, so.
He can't let Stephen Kwan outdo him in home runs.
Maybe he can catch him by the time Quan gets back.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
What's Quan have? 3?
3.
Good to see Kyle Manzardo get his first hit. He didn't start yesterday. He pinch hit, and he came through when it was an opposite field hit. And then they pinch ran for him after that. I would assume he'll be in the starting lineup today.
Yeah, I would think so.
Who they? The White Sox, right?
White
Yeah.
Sox.
Yeah.
Four-game series in Chicago starting
Yeah.
today.
Is Fetty, is that what we said? Eric Fetty's
Eric
on the mound?
Fetty.
Yeah.
By the way, I had somebody on Twitter after I was putting all those messages out about the Guardians asked me for a list of pitchers that the Guardians should go after, and so I wrote a list.
Wait, can I ask one thing about Manzardo
Yeah.
before you read the list?
Yeah,
I do
sure.
want to hear that.
Sure.
Obviously, it was an 0-for-7 start for Manzardo. He had the 5 strikeouts to pinch hit yesterday and come through in the way he did. It wasn't a beautiful hit. I mean, he inside-outed it, hit it to left field. Steve, you can take tag board and play it whenever you want. It's one hit, but to get that first one on the board.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
have to
How
say.
much confidence, and especially in a moment like this, to go opposite field, drop in for a single. I mean, it's a big-time clutch hit for a guy who struggled in his first 2 games.
The world is lifted off of his shoulders.
100%.
It is.
It doesn't matter what it looks. It's funny. I mean, I'm not comparing my son to a major leaguer yet, but he's moved up in the league, got off to a tough start, and he got hit by a pitch, so it was his first time on base, like 3rd or 4th game, and then he actually hit it off his foot, and the ump didn't catch it, so it counted as an infield single. That's all he needed. All he needed was, and then his next time
then
up,
he crushed it.
Then he hit it to the fence.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
his
yeah.
next, like all you need is just to get that one,
I'm telling you.
It
and
makes
then you're off and rolling.
Because if those at-bats pile up without a hit, the stress piles on.
Yes.
It doubles.
Yes.
And you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to get a hit. And it's like embarrassing and it's scary and it's frustrating. And so now he's just going to relax and hopefully the talent will come through.
Yep.
Guys hitting, I tell my little leaguers this all the time. It's obvious. There's nothing harder in sports than hitting a baseball.
That's true.
It is. It's
I
a
don't know.
job.
Returning a serve in tennis is pretty difficult.
Well, serves are returned way more often than balls are hit in baseball.
I agree with that statement.
All right? I tell my kids all the time, the greatest players in baseball fail about 70% of the time. Fail 70%. You fail 70% of the time in basketball,
You're
in
cut.
football, as a pitcher, you're gone. You're out. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do. And so not surprised. And it's not like football where you get a week to kind of recover. And, in baseball, next day. And you can get in your head playing baseball so easily.
I'm telling
and
you.
that's what happens. When you see talented guys who are struggling, it's like the great players in the NBA and the NFL, when they're in their prime, if they're healthy, they don't really go into slumps. Maybe one bad game. But, how often does Patrick Mahomes have a game where he's like, oh, he's terrible?
He did this year.
There was a couple. Not that many.
He did
LeBron James. How many bad games does LeBron have?
He
right?
did this year.
He's got a streak of 10-plus points. I can't remember the number. It's insane.
It's like 1,200 games now.
Yeah.
Something
But
crazy.
Mike Trout goes 0 for 4 plenty of times.
Yeah.
It
Aaron
happens.
Judge got
He goes
beat at
1
Yankee
for
Stadium.
4 with a single
Steph
plenty
Curry
of times.
had a game where he didn't hit a 3.
I hear you, Tyus, but that's once a season.
I know.
The best baseball players are going to have a quarter of the season where they maybe have bad games. And it's just, you have to be able to adjust to all that failure in a way and be able to deal with all the times you don't come through.
Yeah.
Some guys can't handle it. And that's why you see some guys who are top prospects and dominate at the lower level, and they get to the majors and they fail and they fail and they fail, and they can't get over the mental hurdle. There's a lot of that. And you don't think about it that much, but that's a big part of it. So I'm not saying that was going to be the case with Manzardo necessarily, but getting that first big league hit is such a big deal.
I got a miscellaneous question for you.
All right, I have a miscellaneous answer.
Okay. For your series of tweets,
Yeah.
you ended it with hashtag for the land.
Yes.
Once the Cavs beat the Celtics, will you do a series of tweets that say let them know?
I will.
Okay.
I will. Even though I think let them know is kind of lame, and I think for the land is cool, but I could be wrong. Well, I'm not that cool myself.
Bull,
Go
before
ahead.
you give us your pitchers list, and I do want to hear it, Tyus, because you're a baseball hitting expert, will you just break down mechanics-wise what you saw from Manzardo's swing here, please?
What'd you think of his load?
Let me look at it.
What'd you think of his load?
All right.
Pause.
Yeah, stop that. You're going to cut that out.
Watch his load. Watch his load.
I feel like he could have shifted his weight forward a little bit more on that hit, but, he got what he needed to get. I like it, though. Let me see that swing one more time.
I actually thought it was a great swing.
It's going to loop around, Tyus. We can't stop it. It's going to loop around. Just hold on one second.
He really let that ball get into him.
Yep.
And he was not nervous.
He let the ball get deep.
The ball went deep on Manzardo.
Yeah, that was a good swing. You know what? It looked like me back when I was in 2010 when I was playing varsity baseball.
You got to get in this David Njoku charity softball game. By the way,
why would he let me in it?
you know a lot of people. You're a former athlete. By the way, we should talk to David Njoku about us doing the play-by-play.
I'm in conversation with his brother.
So I'm a former athlete again, not a media member.
You are a former athlete and a media member. That's never changed.
You can be two things at once.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
I'm a former athlete. That's it.
Nope.
I am a broadcaster and fantasy football expert.
No, you're not. You
Oh, I
lost. You
certainly
lost to me.
Well, experts don't win all the time.
Yes, they do.
No, they do not.
That's what makes them experts.
No, that's not true.
Bull, who's your list of pitchers before we get to our 2-year anniversary?
Well, real quick,
recap?
first of all, good job by David Fry hitting the game-tying homer. That was huge. We were talking about Fry. We didn't mention the game-tying homer.
Yep.
Rocchio got the game-winning hit. Here's my list of pitchers. Some of these guys I've mentioned already, but I'll mention them again. Justin Verlander. That's the pie in the sky, least likely, obviously.
He's getting hit.
But he'll be all right.
He ain't striking guys out. Guys are not missing.
He missed a lot of time. We'll see. Jesus Luzardo.
That's
coming off the IL soon. Eric Fetty from the White Sox. Maybe the White Sox wouldn't trade him, but he's not like a cornerstone piece, so I think they could.
I just don't think they'd trade him in the division.
Probably not, but you never know. Another guy on the Marlins, Trevor Rogers. Some of these guys are mid-back rotation starters, but you need some innings eaters that are solid pitchers.
Yeah.
J.P. Sears and Paul Blackburn from Oakland. And I have one other guy I thought I think if he gets out of Colorado could be decent, but I don't know his contract. I didn't look at his contract because I didn't have him on the list initially. But Kyle Freeland from the Rockies could be an interesting guy. He might be a guy who he could be even a third starter in another ballpark. So this, right now there's not that many teams that are that bad. And if you're that bad this early, you don't have a lot of starting pitching.